Stick till the end to see how I transform my kitchen and dining from this to this. As the popular saying goes, the kitchen is the heartbeat of the home. Over the years, the kitchen and dining are places I've come to appreciate more and more. I prepare and have my meals in these spaces, and it's where I start my mornings every single day. As a person who's big on health and fitness, having a space that inspires me, makes my overall kitchen experience fun, and meal preparation a lot easier was at the forefront of my mind when starting the process. Hello and welcome to the Value Space. In this video, I'll be taking you through a step-by-step process of how I DIY'd, transformed, and organized my kitchen and dining areas while keeping things accessible and clutter-free. If you're new to the channel, over here I make videos about design, tech, productivity, and home organization. Be sure to subscribe, comment, share, and don't forget to hit that like button as it helps the channel to grow. That aside, let's get straight into it. Since I moved to my new place, I've been working on different rooms in the house, and the roller coaster is finally passing through the kitchen and dining. If you haven't watched my living room setup tour and my DIY home office transformation videos, I'll leave links in the description box for you to check out. Diving straight into it, minus the spice rack, everything in the kitchen remains as I found it when I initially moved in. Even though it's good as it is, being a design enthusiast, adding a personal touch always makes me resonate with my spaces at a higher frequency, which is important in putting me in the right state, whether it's getting my productivity goals sticking in my home office, preparing meals in my kitchen, or whether I decide to kick back and enjoy a good movie or play some video games in my living room. For that reason, I decided to give the kitchen and dining a facelift. When designing the kitchen and dining, I had a few goals in mind. Update and unify the aesthetic of the space to tie in with the living room and to be cozy and inviting. As is with all my projects, the first step is always to gather inspiration and settle on a theme I gravitate towards. I gathered photos on Pinterest, Instagram, and various platforms, and after settling on a general direction, I started exploring materials, colors, and different design styles that would best suit the theme I settled for. This design process revolves around the function, fluidity, and cohesiveness of the space. Having embraced a woody theme in most of my setups, I opted to extend that to the kitchen and dining, although this time going for a bit of bamboo, grey walnut with subtle hints of dark walnut in some of the items. To tie the dining in with the living area, the dining table, the buffet, and coffee table have the same walnut color. The general layout of this makeover is divided into three main parts: the cooking area to the left, the kitchen island to the right, and the dining area up front. Previously, the kitchen and dining were in a bit of a sorry set, and despite having enough storage, lack of an organization system in place compelled the kitchen to chaos. Over time, I lost track of what I had and ended up with lots of waste. The whole process is divided into 7 simple steps: declutter, clean, measure, shop, redesign, store, and organize. The first step is decluttering. I got rid of things I haven't used in a while and goods that went past their expiry date. Next, I wiped all the surfaces to ensure they were clean, then took measurements of the countertops and storage spaces to make sure the stuff I buy would fit in perfectly. I then spent some time planning to make sure I don't overbuy, but also ensure I have enough to redesign and organize everything I need. After that, I shopped from various spaces and brands for various things like containers, contact paper, jars, and other organizational products. As this video covers the kitchen and dining, make sure you subscribe to see how I transform my pantry and fridge in an upcoming video. Moving on to the DIY part, first off was the kitchen counter, arguably the most challenging bit of this transformation. Applying contact paper on the kitchen counter gave me a run for my money. I've previously applied contact paper on my office shelves, and I must admit it was quite challenging. Nonetheless, I was thrilled to give my kitchen counter a new look. Quick tip here, if you're looking to change the color of your worktops, this is a cost-effective way to go about it, and it's also renter-friendly. I changed the color to a white marble color with grey accents as the previous counter was beginning to yellow, hence throwing off the visual appeal. The contact paper has guidelines which make cutting it not that hard of a job. Starting with the kitchen island, I slowly peeled the adhesive backing, and using a card, I pressed it on the countertop to get rid of any air bubbles. Once Once I go to the edge of the kitchen counter, I cut off any excess paper using a pair of scissors and wrapped it around to create a nice crisp line. I then repeated the same process for the cooking side. Despite the challenging installation, I'd say the end product was pretty decent. Once I was done with that, I added 2 walnut bar stools, 2 plastic pump bottles sitting on a bamboo tray, one for the dishwashing liquid and the other for liquid hand wash. Quick tip here, if you want to reduce visual clutter, rejig your products to improve the overall aesthetic of the space. This is a hack I learned from one of my favorite YouTubers, Christine McGowan. I'll leave a link of the video in the description box. Here's a quick before and after. Next up was organization. To the right I have a total of 4 drawers and 1 cabinet under the sink. To the left I have a total of 4 cabinets, 3 to the right of the oven, 1 on the left and a drawer under the microwave. Up top there's a total of 6 cabinets, 3 on either side of the chimney. Starting off with the right kitchen island area, I got an expandable bamboo drawer organizer to ensure my cutlery stays organized and for easy accessibility. Moving down, I got another expandable bamboo drawer organizer to help organize my extra cooking utensils. Moving on, I put table and microfiber cloths in the third drawer and use storage boxes to keep them neat and organized. These come in handy when cleaning and wiping the surfaces. I then put extra wraps, foils, bin liners and other kitchen utilities in the 4th drawer. Under the sink is where I store my cleaning goods and supplies. For a very long while it was left in disarray and acted as the kitchen dumping ground. Anything that I wanted to get out of sight, I threw it in there. To quiet the chaos, I grouped them in storage boxes and added this cupboard organizer from Joseph & Joseph to keep my shopping bags neat. Moving to the other side, on the far right, the first cabinet is where I store my pots, pans and added pan lid holders from Joseph & Joseph for a clean and tidy look. Next door is a narrow cabinet where I store my chopping boards and some extra condiments. Moving to the other side, the first cabinet is where I store some of my kitchen appliances, which include my air fryer, rice cooker and vegetable chopper. In the drawer under the microwave, I store all my oven trays. Moving up, on the far left corner of the stove counter is my breakfast area. Over here I have my toaster, Nespresso coffee machine and a coffee pot holder docked for easy accessibility. Every morning I prepare my breakfast. To keep the cables tucked out of sight, I attach these cord organizers behind the appliances. Underneath the top cabinet I mounted a bamboo foil and wrap dispenser next to the bamboo sandwich bag dispenser, which has compartments that hold different sizes. They not only make accessing these items easy but also make the space look stylish and aesthetically pleasing. Above the dispensers I have 2 cabinets. I keep my storage containers, extra plates, bowls and Tupperware on the larger cabinet and my breakfast utilities on the narrow cabinet. On the right side of the chimney I store some of the condiments I use and water bottles in the narrow cabinet. In the larger cabinet I store the other set of plates, bowls, cups and glasses. Underneath the cabinet I have a floating paper towel, and I like this concept as it helps to save valuable space on the kitchen counter. Moving down, under the cabinet I got a floating shelf that I use to store all my spices. For a more aesthetically pleasing look, I decanted all the spices in small spice jars and labeled them for easier identification and to help reduce visual clutter, which is brought about by the different colors on the little spice jars. Going further down, I got this knife block I bought from IKEA, and right next to it I have porcelain condiment canisters on a wooden tray which I use to store seasoning I frequently use. Moving on, the dining being an extension of the kitchen, for a long time it was so plain and lacked visual interest. The first step was to buy placemats and a table runner, and I got this beautiful set from Amazon and Kmart respectively. This would prevent me from scratching the table as it had already copped a fair amount of that. Next I got a 2-tier fruit basket, added a hydro pinstripe plant and this beautiful hydranthurium, all of them resting on walnut sauces, and the black table runner which helps break the monotony of the wood. I like the visual interest they bring by adding a bit of color and height to the space. From there I moved to the buffet adjacent to the dining table. Ever since I moved in, I'd planned to fill up the space on either side of the buffet, but wondered what I'd use. After months of thinking, I settled on plants either side of the buffet. To the left, I put this giant peace lily on a poly-rattan basket, then put a calathea peacock on a slightly shorter plant stand. I'm guessing that comes from its long stem disposition. I then wrapped up the trio with a calathea orbifolia on the floor and this ribbed plant stand. Quick tip here, grouping plants in threes and varying plant, pots or stand sizes makes the space more aesthetically pleasing through the element of height. Moving right across, I chose a tall bud of paradise again to emphasize the element of height by opening up the space. Being huge, it also needed a big pot, so I took a short trip to Bunnings and got one which was initially in a rustic colorway. With walnut featuring heavily already, I opted to spray paint it white to break the earth tones a little bit. Moving on, I'm sure most of you would agree empty spaces always jolt us into thinking mode on what we can use to fill them up. The wall on the right side of the dining gave me an empty canvas, and like an artist with their paintbrush, I decided to add 2 coconut fiber baskets and reported a Calathea opifolia and an Alakea bisman in them. The process was pretty straightforward. I put some potting mix on the coconut fiber baskets, then shook the plants off the original pots, after which I placed them in the baskets and added potting mix to ensure they were nice and sturdy. From there, I used a stud finder to avoid puncturing any pipes or wires, then drilled the holes and mounted the hooks, after which I hung the plants. I repeated the same process on the side of the kitchen cabinet and hung the Boston fan. I like how the different elements create a bit of a spectacle for the senses, starting off with the coconut fiber baskets which add texture, the different shades of green which help soften the look of the space by bringing color, and the different plant placings and plant heights that add the element of height, which all tie in together to give the much needed visual interest that brings any space to life. Shifting towards the middle, while I'm not a big drinker, it's always nice to have a small liquor collection to enjoy a smooth glass of whiskey or wine every now and then when I have friends around or just by myself. I also added a whiskey flask to elevate the look and add a touch of class. For a neat and visually pleasing set, I made sure everything was well organized. Being such a sucker for plants, I added a pepperonia frost that adds a bit of texture from the shape of its leaves, then put a cactus next to it to add some contrast in shape. To cap it off, I added this canvas painting that ties in well with the black and brown colors flowing through the room. Moving on to lighting. For us to experience the elements of depth, height and width, the things we lay our eyes on have to come in contact with light at different intensities. In my case, I get a generous amount from the glass door to the right and the skylights in the ceiling during the day. When darkness falls, these 2 pendant lights over the kitchen counter provide warm lighting that sets quite a relaxing mood. For a brighter and airy feeling, I got recessed lighting that enables me to see every corner of the kitchen, dining and living area, even though I don't use it at full intensity most of the time. With everything now completed, I'll share the final results. The project took me about 4 weeks on and off to complete. In total, I spent about $900 on storage accessories and plants, with a huge chunk of it going to the plants, and to justify that, here's how the setup looks without the plants. And here's how the setup looks with the plants. For that reason, I highly recommend adding plants to your setups to help elevate the space and create that visual interest. Although I spent a lot of time in the kitchen and dining, it wasn't as exciting as it is. Now I spend more time in here cooking frequently, and being quite an organized person, the changes have made cleaning and maintaining it a lot easier. Since reorganizing, all my kitchen items have now a proper home and everything just flows. I have easier access to my most used tools and ingredients, and I have a lot more counter space to use when cooking, which has made for a better experience all round. If you're looking to update your kitchen using the ideas here, I've left links of the products in the description box below. People of the internet, here are some of my other videos. I'm signing out. See you on the next one.